Welcome to this week's Terrace Bay Council meeting. Decisions were made on waste management, senior housing, and emergency services. Council ended ICI blue box collection and renewed residential recycling services. Clarity was provided on the planned new EMS base, and new fire vehicle replacement option was discussed. Council then passed updated fees bylaws and set dates for upcoming meetings. Here's tonight's agenda.
Hour 6:30 on Monday, December 15th, 2025. I call this meeting of the Corporation of the Township Terrace Bay to order. Land acknowledgement. The Council of the Township Terrace Bay hereby acknowledges that we are in the Robinson Superior Treaty Territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Nishnabik and the Métis. Are there any additions, deletions, or amendments? Hearing none. Yeah, I see that's in picture. We have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Aduno. Resolved the council approve the agenda for the regular council meeting held December 15th, 2025, amended as follows. The additions are item 6.1 East Superior North EMS base agreements, and H, appointing Councillor E. Webb to support housing committee. All in favor? Carried. Next item, we have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, second by Councillor St. Louis, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held December 1st, 2025 be approved as presented. Any questions on the motion or the minutes? All in favor? Carried.
Just a note on the minutes, it was brought forward to our attention that the student counselor is included in the minutes but under staff. That's to do with the way the system works, not being able to add her as a counselor, same status as council. We'll work on it. We can probably change it manually, and we'll change the minutes to reflect it accurately. So just letting council know.
Yep. Okay, report from administration, recycling depot contract renewal.
Thank you, Your Worship. So just some background information under Ontario's Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act 2016 and the Blue Box Regulation OREG 391/21, amended by OREG 210/25. The responsibility shifted for the Blue Box program from municipalities to producers. This is called Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR. Essentially, businesses that supply packaging and paper products must fund and operate the residential recycling system in Ontario. Circular Materials, or CM, is a producer responsibility organization that producers can join to meet their obligations. Essentially, CM is responsible for operating the new Blue Box system for Blue Box materials across Ontario. In April 24, the township entered into an agreement with Circular Materials. Starting on July 1st, 2024, the Blue Box transition to EPR for Terrace Bay and Scriber came into effect. Township entered that agreement with CM to be able to continue to provide residents depot recycling services to the landfill. Terrace Bay opted out of providing curbside services directly, which defaulted then to CM, or Circular Materials, to provide as required by legislation through a local contractor, which is GFL of Thunder Bay. So that's the truck you'll see driving around town on recycling day once a month. So the township had in place, so through EPR, CM was required to maintain any and all normal services, with exceptions, that the township had in place as of August 2019, hence the requirement to maintain the recycling depot at the landfill for the transition period from 2024 to 2026. So highlights of that agreement, Terrace Bay will act as a contractor, meaning CMO will pay Terrace Bay to operate the Blue Box depot at the landfill. That was starting July 1st of 2024 to December 31st of 2025. CMO and the contractor may, by change or extend this agreement for up to 3 further periods of 1 year each. Note the program funding and status for the depot portion of Blue Box producer responsibility is unknown beyond 2026. This is at the time we signed that agreement in 24. Terrace Bay shall invoice CMO for approximately $1,500 per month for the depot operations. So current discussions, we basically received a new agreement from CMO. So as December 31st approaches, so up until December 31st, everything stays the same as it is now. Everybody's paying what they're paying, and everybody's getting paid what they're getting paid. Everybody can use the depot as they're currently using it. But on January 1st, again, we received that amendment agreement to extend the period for 3 additional one-year terms from the expiry date of this year and commencing the 1st of next year and expiring the 31st of December 2028. The extension agreement comes with a number of changes in terms of compensation and non-eligible materials. Compensation has been reduced significantly. More on that in a minute. Though there is room to negotiate, as I'll elaborate on. Most notably, the township is being asked to make a decision on the future of industrial, commercial, and institutional, also known as ICI, recycling services, specifically at the recycling depot at the landfill. We do not currently collect ICI at curbside, nor did we ever. Up until December 31st, 2025, all of our ICI users technically still have access to the recycling depot. However, ICI properties are not included in the legislated Blue Box program. They never were. Municipalities and businesses may set up recycling services for ICI properties, but those would be outside the scope of circular materials legal responsibility. The legislation specifically defines residences and facilities to cover households and multi-dwelling units, not workplaces or institutions. And now that transition period is over, CM wants to amend the depot operation agreement to reflect what's actually supposed to be in place. So because of this, our depot has been assigned an allocated threshold calculated via formula from the Resource Productivity and Recovery Authority, of the RPRA. And that regulator is mandated by the Government of Ontario to enforce Ontario's circular economy laws. That formula is applied for those residential customers only serviced through the depot. So that would be multi-res and customers at Hydro Bay who don't get curbside garbage collection, which means they don't get curbside recycling collection either. The annual threshold is approximately just under 8,000 kilograms based on the calculations provided, which were in the report. So it was 1296 approximately for kilograms for the rural households, mostly Hydro Bay, and 61 for the multi-res units, so our apartment buildings. So 3 choices that will be put before council for the decision renewal of the agreement are: we can continue to blend the ICI Blue Box material at the depot, continue depot operations as is. GFL is contracted out by Circular Materials. However, once the threshold of that just under 8,000 number, that 7857, is achieved for the year, the township is responsible for all costs. That includes bin rental, haulage, and processing in Thunder Bay. That's basically whether we continue to pay GFL to do it. They will be the ones doing the processing because they own the recycling plant, but we could conceivably hire another contractor for bins and for haulage if we wanted to. Whether we continue to pay GFL to do so or find another contractor to take care of the overages I just mentioned. Circular Materials will cover the costs outlined above until the threshold is reached. So until we hit that number under 8,000, things will be as they are. We still can't collect. We would be blending ICI, but once we hit that threshold, that's it. We will continue to cover costs of curbside. Circular Materials will continue to cover costs of curbside collection, haulage, and processing. Curbside will not be affected. The second option is to segregate industrial, commercial, and institutional Blue Box material collection at the depot. The township will be responsible for the segregated bin rental, segregated haulage to Thunder Bay, and segregated processing at Thunder Bay. Again, we continue to pay GFL to do so or find another contractor. Circular Materials will continue to operate the depot for residential Blue Box material. So again, we would have essentially 2 depots at the landfill at that point, a set of bins for ICI and a set of bins for residential. And again, under that model, Circular Materials will, of course, continue to cover the cost for curbside collection, haulage, and processing. The final option is terminate ICI Blue Box material collection at the depot altogether. So that 7857 threshold, as calculated, does not apply. Residential users continue to take the residential Blue Box material at the curbside or take it to the landfill if they choose. Circular Materials will continue to haul, pick up, process the volume collected at the depot, so long as it is generated by eligible sources and fits the acceptable list of materials set forth by the RPRA. Circular Materials would need council to pass a bylaw resolution stating that ICI BBM is not accepted at the depot. The township would need to ensure that no ICI BBM is getting put into the depot or at the curbside. though GFL already does not collect from ICI curbside. ICI entities would need to purchase landfill cards to dispose of their BBM at the landfill or figure out a way to get a hold of Thunder Bay and post this at their expense. The depot recycled on average 5.77 tons or 5770 kg per month across all categories from January 2022 to June 2024. So that's an average. Keeping in mind, this was all depot at the time because when the township collected, we collected using trucks and trailers and deposited the curbside collected material into the bins to be hauled away by GFL as our contractor. So looking at that per year threshold of 7857 or 7.857 tons, we would likely hit that amount easily within the first quarter of the year, given the amount of recycling we typically receive in a typical month. So this would be the township responsible for all costs, depot operation, haulage, and processing for 8 to 10 months a year. Administration has reached out to the municipalities as previously discussed, and the only relevant response came out of Marathon. In their situation, their ICI community has dealt with this through their own internal programs. I think Canadian Tire has its own back haulage program. So the truck comes to Canadian Tire to bring goods for sale. They don't send the trailer back empty. They send the trailer back with cardboard or recyclable materials. So, or they dealt with it. Other organizations in their community have partnered up together to figure out a way to get it to the Murphy Thunder Bay. So we administration also know from previous experience that haulage and processing costs are high to Thunder Bay if we were to take this on at our own expense, and that would be blending or segregating. Some members of council will recall recycling costs nearly tripled the year and a half before the township transitions to producer responsibility. So based on the information above and the desire to continue residential collection at the depot, is therefore administration's recommendation that ICI collection at the depot be terminated. In terms of financial implications, the proposed renewal drops the township's compensation of the operation of the depot significantly from approximately $15.63 per month to $5.62, resulting in a loss of annual revenue in the amount of $12,012. As stated above, administration will attempt to negotiate that number up slightly, so I can bring an update. We did speak to Circular Materials today. They are willing to come up to 1,000. So we're now 562 will be 1,000 per month. So it was a bit of a win back. Administration will negotiate. More importantly, if the township decides to blend or segregate that industrial, commercial, and institutional being at the depot, recycling costs will significantly rise, as I've laid out above. So the options are that council terminate the collection of industrial, commercial, and institutional blue box material at the landfill recycling depot. The appropriate bylaw be brought forward authorizing renewal or amendment to the landfill recycling depot operations agreement with Circular Materials. Option 2 is that council blend the collection of industrial, commercial, and institutional blue box material at the landfill recycling depot with residential, knowing that any and all recyclable material collected beyond the formulated threshold will be collected, hauled, and processed at the township's own expense, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward authorizing renewal or amendment to the landfill recycling depot operations agreement with Circular Materials. Option 3 is that council segregate the collection of industrial, commercial, institutional blue box material at the landfill recycling depot, knowing that any and all segregated recyclable material will be collected, hauled, and processed at the township's own expense, and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward authorizing the renewal amendment to the landfill recycling depot operations agreement with Circular Materials. Option 4 is the council not renew or amend the landfill recycling depot operations agreement with Circular Materials at this time and directs administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1.
Any questions?
It's very thorough. Thank you. Appreciate all the background and negotiating you've done on this project.
So, John, earlier you said Thunder Bay was for $400,000 for
There's an article in the TBT news that was shared with me just before the meeting. They currently have 3 depots, and I believe under the modeling, Circular Materials is only willing to fund 1. I didn't get to finish reading the article. I'll say about that, but yeah. So it sounds like we're not the only ones in this boat, but it is clear there was a letter coming from the Minister of the Environment back in early October that basically stated the province had gone back to the extended producer people and to see if they could get ICI somehow a program going. They refused. The province couldn't legislate this to make this change. They just seem unwilling to do so at this time. So really the reason why we've gotten away with having ICI materials in our blended into our recycling until now is because up until the initial agreement required them to provide the same level of service from 2019 that we had in 2019 from 24 to 26.
No other questions? Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, second by Councillor General, resolve that council terminate the collection of industrial, commercial, and institutional blue box material at the landfill recycling depot, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward, renewing and amending the landfill recycling depot operations agreement with Circular Materials. All in favor? The next one is Northern Policy Institute Housing Report.
Thank you, Your Worship. So at the November 17th regular meeting of council, Dr. David Robinson, PhD, and Charles Sirtwell of the Northern Policy Institute presented a summary of the Housing Needs Assessment Report commissioned by the township that was entitled Invest Now, an Action Plan for Seniors Living in and Around Terrace Bay. The township had previously commissioned this work back in 2024, partially to refine the knowledge surrounding the need for supportive housing in the community, but more importantly, to satisfy one of the prerequisites required to apply for housing funding, whether that be seed funding, accelerator funding, etc., through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. The study sets out to respond to three fundamental questions. If the township of Terrace Bay were to support the construction and or operation of seniors housing in the community, what form should that support take? If the township were to support the construction and or operation of seniors housing in the community, what service mix, if any, would represent the most effective and efficient combination, balance costs, demand, access to services available elsewhere, or other factors considered by comparator communities? And three, given that the purpose of this commentary is to assist the township of Terrace Bay in planning over the long term to address an aging population, would the answers to questions 1 or 2 above change 5, 10, or 15 years from now? The answer to this question should account for both what is currently known about the service demands as population age and current population. So current discussion, the full version of this report is attached and will be posted on the township's website, along with a hard copy sent to the library as requested. The report makes 8 recommendations in response to the fundamental questions as follows. Recommendation 1, these estimates suggest that townships should immediately at least double long-term care capacity in Terrace Bay and plan to triple capacity by 2031 at the latest. Recommendation 2, the simplest and quickest and lowest risk approach is to assist NOSH to begin immediately twinning its current Wilkes Terrace facility. Recommendation 3, Terrace Bay should work to provide both continuum of healthcare and social services and range of housing and living options for people as they move from total independence in their own homes to increasingly assisted settings. Recommendation 4, the township should develop and promote an aging in place strategy. Recommendation 5, the township should collaborate with the province and local agencies to expand home care in Terrace Bay to support aging in place. Recommendation 6, the township should work with care providers and the province to increase the funding available to the North Shore Family Health Team to provide expanded primary care to seniors in the region. Recommendation 7, the township should develop and promote intermediate housing solutions with integrated healthcare and social services. Recommendation 8, the township should consider developing and promoting a senior-friendly neighborhood or even small seniors village. It is a recommendation of the administration that the report be adopted via resolution. The report will be presented to the Supportive Housing Committee in the very near future. It will be the committee's task to review and advise on what recommendations from the report should be prioritized in the short, medium, and long term, but also to provide feedback and ideas on how to achieve the goals laid out in the recommendations. The financial implications are none at this time. Our financial implications will depend on how we move forward with the report and continue on with the Senior Supportive Housing Project. The options are the council accepts and adopts the report by the Northern Policy Institute entitled Invest Now, a Plan for Seniors Living in and Around Terrace Bay as presented. The council accepts and adopts adopts the report by the Northern Policy Institute entitled Invest Now, an Action Plan for Seniors Living in and Around Terrace Bay as amended through discussion. Option 3 is administration be directed, it's the same preamble, but administration be directed to seek further amendments through consultation with the Northern Policy Institute. And option 4 is that council does not accept and adopt the report and directs administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1 that be adopted.
Questions? No. Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, seconded by Councillor St. Louis, resolve that council accepts and adopts the report by the Northern Policy Institute entitled Invest Now, an Action Plan for Seniors Living in and Around Terrace Bay as presented. All in favor? Hey, Joan, the emergency management plan update that we worked on this afternoon.
Thank you, Your Worship. So Terrace Bay existing emergency management plan was last officially updated via bylaw in 2024. The plan, as part of the overall emergency management program, is reviewed on an annual basis as required by the Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act. And changes are recommended to council by the Emergency Management Program Committee or directly from the Municipal Emergency Control Group. I'm not going to go through the legislation. But basically, the legislation says that the group has to complete annual training, do an annual simulated exercise, and that also the MECG or the control group needs to have knowledge of all the components of the municipal emergency management program, including but not limited to the municipal hazard identification and risk assessment and critical infrastructure list. They must know the municipal emergency management plan, including their roles and responsibilities in those organizations which may have a role in response. Knowledge of the procedures used to activate and operate under that plan. Knowledge of the notification procedures used to notify members of the control group when the emergency plan is activated, and knowledge of the location, communications infrastructure and technology in their municipality, their emergency operations center. So the review by the committee must review all components of the programs. They must review the plan itself. They must review the training conducted by the municipality, the exercises conducted by the municipality, the public education program, municipal hazard identification risk assessment, and the critical infrastructure list. For 2025, this is current discussion. For 2025, the MECG met on December 15th to fulfill the annual training and exercise as part of the legislative compliance requirements. A review of the relevant legislation and requirements was the first item on the agenda. A tabletop exercise involving a rail chemical incident in a neighboring community was conducted, followed by a short quiz testing the members' knowledge, and finally a short debrief for the participants. Following the exercise, the committee reviewed the overall emergency management program, including a review of the plan, the training and tabletop exercise, the public education efforts throughout the year, and a third discussion of hazard identification and risk assessment and critical infrastructure. All applicable members of council and the MECG did attend the tabletop exercise and MECG and the training for 2025. There were also changes to the HIRA or CI following the committee's review in light of recent community incidents since the last review. Other changes may be required from time to time, as noted by the committee, including updating of contacts and phone numbers in the lists. Updating of contacts and the phone numbers is an ongoing exercise and does not require a bylaw change. We're just mentioning here so council. So financial implications, none at this time. The council approved the proposed amendments to the emergency management plan as discussed, and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. The council not approve the amendments and direct administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1 for bylaw pass.
Questions? One, here we have a motion moved by Councilor St. Louis, seconded by Councilor Duno. Resolve the council approve the proposed amendments to the emergency management plan as discussed, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Here. Is water rates.
Thank you, Your Worship. Annual water rates and charges are established each year through the passage of a bylaw, typically in January, with those rates taking effect January 1st. The township long ago established a charge for disconnected buildings or vacant lands, all classes, at a third of the monthly rate charge. Many municipalities in Ontario have implemented a similar fee charge to account for the cost of providing water service to a property and maintaining the water mains and common infrastructure. So through ongoing discussions with a specific ratepayer, it was discovered the rate schedule for the last 3 water rates bylaws, so 23, 24, and 25, contained a clerical error that erroneously omitted the 1/3 monthly rate. Despite the omission, the township continued its water billing practices without change. To further back up administration's assertion this was a clerical error, no report was brought to council seeking elimination of the third charge for disconnected or vacant properties, nor has council directed or requested such a change that administration is aware of. So current discussion, to correct the clerical error, is recommended the amending bylaws be introduced to amend each of these 3 years that the error is known to have occurred. These amending bylaws are simple. They amend the specific row and column of Schedule A concerning disconnected buildings and vacant lands, all classes, to include the wording 1/3 the monthly rate charge. These bylaws are being presented to council for passage to take effect immediately and will also have a retroactive effect. Going forward, the schedule of the future water rate bylaws will be confirmed to apply the correct 1/3 charge for vacant and disconnected properties. So the options are the council accepts the recommendation of administration to amend bylaws 01-2023, 01-2024, and 02-2025 to reflect the correct application of the 1/3 monthly class rate for disconnected buildings and vacant lands, all classes, and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option 2 is the council not accept the recommendation of administration to amend bylaws 01/2023, 01/2024, and 02/25, and no action be taken at this time. Option 3 is the council not accept the recommendation of administration to amend the bylaws 01/2023, 01/2024, and 02/25, and directs administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option.
Any questions? We have the motion moved by Councillor Duno, seconded by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council accepts the recommendation of administration to amend bylaws 01/2023, 01/2024, and 02/2025 to reflect the correct application of the 1/3 monthly class rate for disconnected buildings and vacant lands, all classes, and that's appropriate. Amending bylaws be brought forward. All in favor? Here. Next one, John, is EMS cease agreement.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the township has been aware of Superior North EMS's, or SNEM's, desire to consolidate its existing bases in Scrivener and Terrace Bay for a number of years. In April 2023, Terrace Bay expressed an interest in hosting the consolidated SNEM's base in our community. The current facility, which is located on the Causland Hospital campus, is inadequate for modern operations. It lacks pull-through bays, expansion capacity, and the appropriate amenities for paramedics. The new base should provide a modern environment, improve living and working conditions, supporting morale, and hopefully serving as a recruitment tool for new personnel. The proposed ambulance station will be built on township-owned land where the former Scout Hall once stood. Terrace Bay will own the building and be responsible for the design and construction of the station. To finance the project, the township will borrow the required funds from Infrastructure Ontario. Repayment of this loan will be fully covered through the lease arrangements with the City of Thunder Bay over a 30-year period. Under the lease, SNEMS, or the City of Thunder Bay, will pay Terrace Bay a basic monthly rent that includes principal and interest on the Infrastructure Ontario loan. Additional monthly rent will cover operating costs, and further contributions will be made to a capital reserve fund to support future repairs. At year end, the township will reconcile costs to ensure all expenses are recovered. In February of this year, Council approved the signing of a non-binding letter of intent with the City of Thunder Bay, confirming both parties' commitment to move forward with the project. The next step is to formalize this arrangement through a binding lease agreement, ensuring long-term financial stability for the township, while providing STEMS with a modern, purpose-built base to enhance service delivery across the region. So the current discussion, the STEMS-based project is ready for the construction stage, ready to be tendered, actually. To proceed with the STEMS-based construction, the long-term lease and municipal capital facilities agreements need to be executed. So the basics of the lease is a 30-year term. Terrace Bay is responsible for financing, tendering, and construction of the facility. The City of Thunder Bay is responsible for design specifications and costs. So Thunder Bay will pay to design the base. We will pay them back for the design, but then recoup the design costs also as part of that lease, just to make that clear. So I know why up top I said we're responsible for it. So estimated construction costs at the last set of drawings was 4.76 million plus HST. City covers all costs except municipal and school taxes, hence the reason for the municipal capital facilities agreement. Basic rent repays construction design costs amortized over 30 years. Additional rent covers operating and maintenance expenses reconciled annually. So capital reserve, there's a portion of the rent that goes to that. Monthly contributions to reserve fund for future repairs. Unused balance returned to the city to lease end. The facility to be designated a municipal capital facility under Section 110 of the Act to be exempt from school and property taxes. For insurance and indemnity, property and liability insurance would be maintained by Terrace Bay. City insures contents, business interruption, and trades fixtures, and obviously insures their own service as well too. Use and transfer, the city must operate the EMS base continuously for EMS purposes only. The city cannot transfer the lease rights without Terrace Bay's consent, and Terrace Bay cannot transfer the lease rights without the city's consent. So for maintenance repairs, Terrace Bay is responsible for exterior, structural, and major systems maintenance. Cost charged to the city is additional rent. For the city is responsible for interior upkeep and leasehold improvements, so things like furniture and cupboards and countertops, that kind of thing. Tender and cost controls. Terrace Bay manages the tendering. City must approve tender acceptance. Tender costs exceed 15% of the estimated construction costs. The city may require further council approval or terminate the lease. As well, we can do the same. Termination rights. If construction does not commence or reach substantial completion by the specified dates, subject to unavoidable delays, of course, the city may terminate the lease with limited obligations. With respect to the municipal capital facilities agreement, An MCFA is a legal arrangement under section 110 of the Municipal Act 2001 that allows municipality to designate certain lands, buildings, or facilities as municipal capital facilities. Once designated, the municipality can enter into agreements with other parties, such as school boards, private owners, or other governments, to use those facilities for municipal purposes, and the facilities may be exempt from property taxes for municipal and school purposes. So the MCFA establishes a new ambulance space in Terrace Bay as a municipal capital facility under section 110 of the Act. It ensures the facility is recognized as serving a municipal purpose, health services, which is paragraph 10 under section 2 of the regulation. The key provisions: the lands in the building are designated for use as an ambulance space, serving Terrace Bay residents. Agreement is tied to the lease between Terrace Bay and Thunder Bay for the MS space. Municipality must pass a bylaw following the signature on the MCFA, exempting the lands and facility from municipal and school property taxes. Municipality must also notify the Minister of Finance, MPAC, and the relevant school boards of the exemption. The exemption applies only while the lands are used for an ambulance facility. If the use changes, the exemption is revoked and the agreement is terminated. Registration: the municipality must register the bylaw on title once passed. Financial implications. So theoretically, there should be no financial implications on the township. As stated above, the township has secured borrowing through Infrastructure Ontario to cover costs of the construction of the base. The long-term lease with Thunder Bay will pay back those costs over the life of the lease, including any interest. Construction costs were last estimated, as I said, above 4.76 million. It is important to remember that the project still has to go to tender and the price could come back higher or lower than the estimated amount. So the options are that option 1 is the council approve and authorize administration to enter into a long-term 30-year lease with the city of Thunder Bay for the construction, ownership, and leasing of the new ambulance station in Terrace Bay, and that the council approve and authorize the administration to enter into agreement, municipal capital facilities agreement under section 110 of the Municipal Act 2001, and the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. Option 2 is that council not approve entering into the long-term lease agreement and municipal capital facilities agreement for construction, ownership, and leasing of the new ambulance station in Terrace Bay, and directs administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option 1.
Any questions? We have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, seconded by Councillor Duno. Resolved that council approved and authorized administration to enter into a long-term 30-year lease with the city of Thunder Bay for construction, ownership, and leasing of a new ambulance station in Terrace Bay. And that council approve and authorize administration to enter into a municipal capital facilities agreement under section 110 of the Municipal Act 2001, and that the appropriate bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Carried. Joe, sponsorship package for the municipal league.
So the municipal league sent out a letter seeking sponsorship options for the township. They come at copper level, refreshment break bronze level, silver level, or gold level. So gold would be 1,000 to 2,000. Silver is 500 to 1,000. Refreshment break is 300 to 500, and the copper, the lower one, is 100 to 300. So the recognition is there too in the attached document where council can see name of the organization, the official program, name the official program, and the first three sponsors that will be recognized during the refreshment break. So it's signed on the coffee table. You can see them all there. So really, I just brought that forward to see if council had any interest in doing that. I believe there's still time for us to let them know if council didn't want to make a decision tonight. So.
Do you know what we used to do? I can't remember.
In the past, my recollection is we've done the copper. Yeah, I think that was the most recent one, but we can double check and get back in the new year if council desires, or if council wants to make a decision. By all means, please.
Did we do bronze last year? Why do I think we did a bronze last year?
So we did a coffee break.
Yeah.
You did do it. Yeah.
We did it.
We can double check that. Do you want to bring it back for finalization on the 12th of January?
Yeah, checking.
I'm good to go with the bronze second break.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't mind doing that again.
Bronze?
Yeah, bronze, yeah.
Okay.
What is that, John? 500 down?
300 to 499, up to 5.
Thank you for making that decision.
Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, second by Councillor Duno. Resolved that council agrees to support Thunder Bay District Municipal League through a sponsorship package valued at $500. All in favor? Carried. Next one here isn't on the agenda.
It's part of it. So that's the support resolution.
Yeah.
So with the departure of CAO Figley from Red Rock, the administration positions opened up for Thunder Bay District or one of the administration positions opened up on the Municipal League. I would like to go for it. I've previously expressed that to council. What's required, I've already put my name in, but council still has the final say through a resolution of support and allowing me to do that. So I do have a resolution here prepared. Then you guys can discuss and vote yes or no.
We'll need the resolution, moved by Councillor Duno, second by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council supports the appointment of John Hall, CAO clerk, to the position of Thunder Bay District Municipal League / NOLMA Administrative Representative, that any expenses incurred with attending meetings that are not reimbursed by either board will be reimbursed by the township on a case-by-case basis. Any discussion on that?
No, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Just want to make a point, a lot of the meetings are held virtually for the municipal league, and a lot of them are held virtually for NOLMA as well too. Anytime we travel, it's typically the same time the township is traveling for NOLMA and EMO. The only ones outside would be if they decide to go to Ulra, which we don't currently go to anymore. So just knowing that before we go.
All in favor of that motion? Carried.
Thank you.
Yeah, next one, John, is the date in the town hall meeting.
So this was just verbal. Remember Alshewski and I talked about setting a date for the town hall. Probably made the most sense to wait till after the Roma conference, which is the third week in January. So I would put forward either the 28th, which I think is the Wednesday of the following week, or the first week of February. Again on the Wednesday. So those dates would be just like
28th or 4th.
28th or 4th. Thank you.
Yeah, I lean towards the 4th. Yeah, I think I would do the 4th.
January.
Okay, we have a motion moved by Councillor Duno, second by Councillor St. Louis. Resolved that council set a date for general town hall meeting on February 4th, 2026. All in favor? Here. Okay. And the next item, we have a motion moved by Councillor St. Louis, second by Councillor Duno. Resolved that council approve Councillor B. Webb to the Supportive Housing Committee. Any questions on that?
Is he becoming chair of that committee, or is that this council?
I think Bert's not the chair for it. Okay.
Just I would say that they would probably have the right to elect their own chair.
Yeah.
It would go back to the committee to figure that out. Because we haven't met in a long time, it's probably a good time to actually re-elect a chair and a vice chair. I think our vice may have departed the committee as well too.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, all in favor of that motion? Forward to that. Finance, Danny, fees and charges.
Your worship, every year council must pass the bylaw to adopt fees and charges that the municipality plans to use for the current fiscal year, upcoming fiscal year. Highlights this year, the changes include an average of a 10% increase across administrative functions such as tax and water certificates and commissioner roll signatures. Airport fees have been removed as we will discontinue the sale of fuel permanently beginning in 2026. 10% increase to all building department permits and letters. We will now accept clean contractor yard waste at the landfill free of charge. It must be entirely organic. 5% increase across the board on gym, pool, and arena fees. 5% increase on all room and building rentals. Birthday party rentals at facilities increased 25% to $125 per occasion. Senior snow removal increased to $19.25 per occasion to resume a 50% subsidy. Community garden plots increased to $10 per, and a new schedule added for fees for audio-visual equipment and technical support. It was estimated that the proposed increase can save over 0.3% of an increase on the 2026 levy. All estimated revenues will be reviewed with the 2026 operating budget. So the options are A, to approve the 2026 fees and charges and relevant bylaw be brought forward, or B, defer the 2026 fees and charges and direct administration to bring back at the next scheduled meeting with appropriate changes. Recommendation is option A.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Just wondering, Danny, how do our fees compare to other fees, you know?
It's all over the map. Some were higher, some were lower, but we're all in the ballpark. I mean, it's, even the arena, we should be raising our arena fees substantially with everything else we're facing, but if we do, then nobody will rent our arena and everyone would go to Scriber, so.
Okay. No other questions? We have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that council approve the 2026 fees and charges and that the relevant bylaw be brought forward. All in favor? Carried. Meeting CDC, new CDC members.
So,
Meeting.
so back earlier in the summer, late summer, we decided that the CDC had lost 3 of its members, some through resignation, some through moving. And it was discussed that in October that the CDC or Community Development Committee would benefit from new members to reinvigorate the direction and purpose of the committee. The CDC has historically played an important role in providing connection to the voice of the community, as well as moving forward pivotal projects like the waterfront project and the downtown revitalization. An advertisement was posted on the township social media portals and in our newsletter. Members were asked to outline their interests in the CDC and their ideas for a better Terrace Bay. The vacant committee positions were advertised locally back in October. We closed officially on November 30th. 4 application letters were received, and administration is recommending that all apply be to the committee. So the new members for the CDC committee being recommended include John Fielding, Lisa Jacques, Sarah Chappelle, and Mike Moore. The financial implications are none. So the options for council are: the council approved the recommended applicants to the Community Development Committee to begin regular meetings in January 2026. The council not approve the recommended applicants and direct administration to re-advertise. The council not approve the recommended applicants and direct administration otherwise. We're recommending number 1, the council approve the recommended applicants to the Community Development Committee. This will begin meetings in January 2026.
Any questions?
Does that fill your committee now?
It does.
It
That's
does.
1 actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Pardon?
No?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Webb. Resolved that council approve the following applicants to the Community Development Committee to begin regular meetings in January 2026. Jay Fielding, L. Joss, Sarah Chappelle, and Mike Moore. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Ryan, you're up.
Thank you, Worship. Good evening, everybody. I'm here to give an update on Rescue 3. For those not familiar with Rescue 3, that's our highway extrication vehicle, medical calls, any types of rescue that we need to do. About a month ago, there was an issue with the engine that was that couldn't be diagnosed here, so we brought it to Pinewood Ford and had to be towed from a company in Thunder Bay. Pinewood Ford phoned the next day with some bad news. They performed, I'm just going to read what they had here because I'd asked, is right away he's like, you need a new engine. So I asked him to be a little more specific. Perform power balance test, cylinder 3 not contributing. Perform relative compression, cylinder 7 is reading 7%. Cylinder 4 is reading 21%. Removed oil fill cap, excessive crankcase pressure present. Internal engine damage present, cracked piston, piston ring, stored cylinder wall. Engine assembly will need to be replaced. So that came in at a cost of $47,770 or $786.75 to replace that engine. That's a 2002, 2003 Ford F-550.
It's 22 years old.
Yeah.
We're gonna put $40,000 in it, $45,000.
48,000. Yeah. Oh, that was wrong, right? Per kilometers.
I think there's like 40,000 kilometers, 50,000 kilometers. They're low. It's low kilometers. A lot of idling, but a lot of hours.
Before we dump 45,000 into a year-old truck. I'd like you guys to do a little bit of homework and see. Well, no, you know what? It's funny because I just for the hell of it, I went online and had a look at it. You can buy a cab and chassis for $95,000. You know, I guess the question I'm gonna ask you is, do you guys know your service unit on the back of it, what kind of shape is it in? The box?
It's not in great shape.
It needs work too? Okay, because I was gonna say, if you could just swap it onto any chassis that,
Yeah, it's falling apart.
okay,
It's definitely showing its age. I did some homework. I used rescue unit without water. Without water and pump. The one that we currently have has water, 200 gallons of water and a pump to pump the water.
yeah,
This one will not, and you're looking at about 300,000.
used,
Brand new.
oh, brand new.
Yeah, brand new.
Used.
Used. I had a heck of a time trying to find used. The closest I found was 2024s.
Okay.
Not even used, like just not.
But year old.
Or 2004s. We're about 65,000 US with probably the same issue, like either 2004 Ford F450s or 550s with 6-liter V8s or
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Any questions?
The only other option here is you guys will have to sit down with John and everybody discuss what we want to do.
This is like our primary money maker too, right? For, not money maker, but.
Yeah,
It
it brings in
revenue.
revenue from highway and forest fires.
So are we without that capability right now?
No, we have about a quarter to a half of the equipment that's on unit 4 right now. Just like our main heavy hydraulics and stop signs.
Ryan, if we do simple mathematics, if we take the 48,000 as opposed to replacing the unit, I mean, what kind of life are we looking at for this unit that you have right now if you get a new engine? To breathe some life back into the unit.
It's hard to say, I mean, with the body. I mean, if it's a new engine, it could last another 20 years, but the body probably won't.
So give us your best pitch as to how long this unit will last. If
It's hard to say. I mean, we could go down the mill road and we took out the leaf springs and
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old, tired rescue. It's done what it needs to do, and it's starting to hurt, and it's breaking down more often than not. It's been in the shop quite often.
Any other questions? Brian, the department still effectively respond to highway NVCs without rescue free?
Not effectively. No, we have a lot of gear that's not on unit 4 right now, so we don't have our struts, stabilizers, so we don't have our airbags. So effectively, no. Basic heavy hydraulics, we can.
Can you supplement with unit 4 or the other unit 1 or unit 2? Like you said, you transferred about a third to half the equipment.
We don't have any more room in pumper 2. We bring, our pumper 2 is full.
We'll go ahead. Just one more from your worship. How long can you're not affected, what you say, you're not affected, but we can still go service NBCs on the highway as we are now, but it will be as affected as if we had unit 3 with us, correct? No. Jump or Gary?
Yeah, so I mean, moving in the direction of a replacement, what's sort of the timeline would you estimate or guess?
It wouldn't take as long as say engine 1, because we had to build engine 1 from the ground up. They have a lot of stock units that you can just purchase, and they have like what the one quote I got, they had 5 units ready to go. So
That was a $300,000 one.
yeah,
These trucks are built,
they're already built.
they just have to be personalized to what you
Yeah,
want.
they put the decals on it and a little finishing touches, so besides that, they'd be good to go.
So why did you even ask for one?
This, you know, it'd be great to get, an answer to start working on something. If we can, as soon as possible. We do have money in the reserve fund. From our highway calls.
Yeah.
So
Do you know how much is in that reserve fund?
by the end of this year, 150,000.
So, well, I was just gonna say, I recommend administration meet with the chief and work on something to bring back to the 12th at the earliest.
Yeah.
And then we can, we'll bring back options for council. We're putting new used, sort of things, so a lot of hard luck. And if you have to do the procurement process, we can do that as well too. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah, is that through our Earwood partnership? We have options that way? Is that?
I don't know that Canoe would procure a full-size fire truck. It's hard to say, but again, something we'll investigate before we,
There it is. I was reading, it's one of the, I don't know if it's Fort Gary or it was Fort Fire Truck or one of those, they were going through Canoe, I believe, so. I'll find out, I saw it. Saw it on one of those sites, so I'll do more.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Scary?
My thought was if, was our next meeting before or after Roma?
Before.
Before, so there might be some trade show opportunity there. Sorry.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Okay, bylaws. Here's one, the motion moved by Councillor Webb, second by Councillor Dubé. Resolve that bylaw 33-2025 amending bylaw 01-2023 establishing 2023 water rates commencing January 1st, 2023. Be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next one, we had a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Webb, resolve that bylaw 34-2025 amending bylaw 01-2024 establishing 2024 water rates commencing January 1st, 2024 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next one, we have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, second by Councillor Dubé, resolve that bylaw 35-2025 amending bylaw 02-2025 establishing 2025 water rates commencing January 1st, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? There. Next bylaw, moved by Councillor Dubé, second by Councillor Webb. Resolved that a bylaw to establish fees for services for the 2026 fiscal year be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next bylaw, motion moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolve that bylaw 37-2025, a bylaw to establish emergency management program for the protection of public safety, health, the environment, the critical infrastructure and property, and promote economic stability and a disaster resilient community. You read it first, second, and third time, and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 15th of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next bylaw moved by Councillor Dubé, second by Councillor Webb. Resolved that a bylaw to authorize a lease agreement with the city of Thunder Bay, Superior North EMS base, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on the 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. bylaw, moved by Councillor Webb, second by Councillor Dubé, resolved that a bylaw to amend bylaw 13-2024 in respect of an agreement with Circular Materials Ontario be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw, moved by Councillor Dubé, second by Councillor Webb. Resolved that a bylaw to authorize the municipal capital facilities agreement under section 110 of the Municipal Act 2001 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 15th day of December 2025. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and that's it for the bylaw. Any questions online or in?
Anyone online, first call for questions, please type them in the chat or use the Q&A feature. Second call for questions online. And third and final call for questions online. Well, there's any questions on
Okay, next order of business, we have a motion moved by Councillor Webb, second by Councillor Dubé, resolve that the next regular meeting of council will be held on January 12th, 2026. All in favor? Carried. And the last order of business for tonight, we have a motion moved by Councillor Dubé, second by Councillor Webb, resolve that we now adjourn at 7:26. All in favor? Carried.